Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the tier 10 Japanese destroyer, the Shimakaze, and this is on the PTS, so I have the new skill tree including RPF. And it's a match on the map Mountain Range, it's domination mode, and there are a fair few destroyers in this game. 5 on the enemy team, 4 on ours. Unfortunately we have quite many Shimakazes, so I don't think we quite have the destroyer advantage. However, because the Shimakaze is fairly good at torpedoing, well, it can still go alright. I spawned near the B cap, so I immediately headed towards it, because capping is important, capping wins games, although I'm not quite certain how much I value early capping, I guess. It's more important if you can actually hold the cap zones. Also, RPF is being incredibly useful here, because it'll tell me whether there are other destroyers around. Well, I mean, it doesn't outright tell me, but it's likely that I will be able to grasp. Like right now, I saw the RPF indicator moving, so I had a fair idea that a DD was coming in. She was spotted through other things. Now, right now I'm actually quite afraid, because if the Z-52 has torpedoed in my direction, mind you, I'm not spotted by RPF, so I wouldn't exactly know where I am, but he might have randomly torpedoed this direction. Like he did, quite literally. This might have been dangerous if his aim had been better. Fortunately, that was not the case, and the Z-52's torpedoes passed uneventfully. So, our other Shimakaze, Dalamor, is trying to cap the C cap, however, because he ran into the Z-52, well, it's not going so well. The cool thing is that Japanese destroyers don't outright lose a gunfight against German ones. Well, I guess they technically do, but not by all that much because, well, the German destroyers don't have that much damage per minute, especially firing HE. So it is still a possibility for Japanese destroyers to fight them. Also, right now you can see how RPF can be useful for destroyers. Because you saw where RPF was pointing, it was pointing at the Z-52 and now it is pointing at the battleships, the Kurfürst. Which means that there is very likely no destroyer near these battleships. So I know that, so I have, a fairly high probability of knowing that these battleships are unescorted. So I can, go closer to them and not actually risk it nearly as much. And this is very useful because this means I can torpedo better. Now the question is though, because of the angles of the battleships, I am not quite certain if I want to torpedo here. I think this Yamato Razmaster might be the best target. Because, well, she actually has some angle on me. That is, the other one, M16A4, that guy is like turning and stuff, so torpedoing him would be a lot more difficult. And it worked out alright on Razmaster, although, the angle still is not that great, so I don't think I'm gonna kill it. I'll hit a fair few, but kill, no. Oh my god. That's actually quite surprising, only one of those torpedoes hit. That is surprising, I was expecting at least like 2 or 3. Oh well, it is what it is. But again, notice that I could actually go closer fairly safely because I knew that there was no destroyer around. Because remember, this is a 5 destroyer game. It wouldn't really be that abnormal for there to be a destroyer with those battleships. And if I go that close like I did, and there's a DD around, I have to smoke. Otherwise I will likely die, because the secondaries and some main gun hits would just kill me. So, at this current moment, I was thinking of smoking this Montana, but because it's the PTS, well, I'm sorry Montana, but I don't really trust you to not be full potato. So I think I'll just save the smoke. Not to mention that to actually smoke the Montana at this point, I would have to go within detection range of that Yamato, and yeah, that's not really something I would like to do. I am, however, going to torpedo here, and I might use smoke, because I am still afraid of those battleships. Yep, that Yamato is turning closer, at least that's what I expect, because I was spotted, so my torpedoes are aimed in a way where the expectation is that that Yamato is turning into me and will be coming straight at this current position. Hopefully this time there will be more than one torpedo hit. Would be quite nice. Well, the first salvo passed uneventfully. Second one though hit one, and the third one hit one as well. Well, 2 torp hits is good enough because the Shimakaze's torpedoes deal 1 billion damage. Also, unfortunately I am spotted at the front by a Yugumo, so this is a fairly poor maneuver by me. Like, I was not paying enough attention here. I would have definitely known that that Yugumo was there if I had paid more attention, and torpedoes incoming, but these will be easy to dodge. The worry is that I need to actually fight this Yugumo, and there is an Iowa behind that Yugumo, so I don't really want to fire my guns, because I would like to get outside of the spotting range of the Yugumo and disappear. And if I had fired my guns, well, I would have been spotted for 20 seconds more. Well, maybe not, maybe it would have been alright, but you know, I wanted to be safer because the Yugumo was also disengaging from me. Or, you know, seemed to be. But I survived, so it's alright. I have last stand, so I'm not really gonna probably use my repair on this steering gears being broken, and I'm gonna start turning around because I want to go around to try to do another torpedo run. And because RPF is pointing at the Yugumo, I know that there is no gearing chasing me, which is good. And I totally just wasted that damage control party, but then again it's free, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, time to try torpedoing that Iowa now. Or maybe a ship that's following the Iowa. I don't know, there should be another battleship there inside the smoke. And because RPF is not pointing at the Iowa, I think it's pointing elsewhere, but it seems that it's pointing at the source of where those shells are coming from, so it's likely that there is no destroyer next to the battleships quite. Although at this point I'm not quite certain anymore. I am gonna go closer though to risk it to try to torpedo, but I might stay further away instead of going like within 6.5 kilometers or something like that. And I'll try torpedoing the Montana because the Iowa is already turned in a way that she likely will sail away. And well, I barely got in range of the Montana, and unfortunately I was already spotted by the Yugumo. I think it's the Yugumo because that's the only ship that can spot me before, you know, I spot them. RPF did tell me this, so I was kind of, you know, prepared for this. If I hadn't known this information, I would have, you know, if RPF hadn't pointed at the Yugumo, I probably would have just gone closer to within like 6.5 kilometers to try to torpedo the Montana, so the torpedo spread out less, and also this is rest in peace Montana. Goodbye. Oh, never mind. I take back what I said. Only 3 torpedoes hit. That's alright, I guess. I did expect that the Montana would try to evade because I was spotted, so I figured the Montana would turn into me, but unfortunately that did not actually happen, so Montana got away with only 3 torp hits, but I think that's still enough to deal, you know, ruin his game, I guess. But again, RPF is incredibly useful here. Like, I could go closer to those battleships because I was fairly safe earlier on. This time, I knew that there was, or that there likely was a destroyer around, so I didn't go as close. I tried to stay as far away as I can, which is 8 kilometers more or less, with these torpedoes, so I feel that RPF is something that's incredibly useful. Also, that Yugumo is fighting the Fletcher, so because he is focused on the Fletcher, let's try to finish her off right now. I mean, as much as I can. Back guns, go. Fortunately, did not quite get it, but the Fletcher and the Yugumo traded one another, so I think it's alright. At this point it's a 6 against 5, we are in the lead, we actually have more destroyers left. However, oh, never mind, not however, we are also capping the sea cap, and there is one battleship that's on our side of the map, which means that we are going to easily pick that one off. Unfortunately, there is also one battleship on the other side of the map, and we just lost another ship, so it's a 5 against 5. And in this kind of scenario, actually, I would bet my cards on the enemy team, because having 3 battleships and 2 destroyers, in my opinion, at the end of the game, or, you know, in the later stages of the game, is superior to 3 destroyers and 2 battleships. Well, I take that back, that's 3 destroyers and 1 battleship. Well, Hopefully our battleship will be able to pick off the enemy battleship that's on our side of the map, and oh my god, the only destroyers left are Shimakazes. And yeah, the battleship got that. It's 3 Shimakazes and 1 battleship against a Gearing, Shimakaze, Yamato, and I believe Iowa. And unfortunately I don't have very much HP, so I definitely cannot fight the Gearing. I have to pay very good attention to where the Gearing is. And you know, the Shimakaze too. RPF is very helpful in this. We have the caps advantage, so we should be fairly defensive. I know that the Shimakaze was at the bottom area, so RPF is pointing likely at the Gearing. And because of where, you know, I last saw the Gearing, it's likely that, well, the Gearing isn't gonna be the one that's gonna run into me. And there's the Yamato. I would like to torpedo them. I'm gonna go closer to try to torpedo and then, you know, back off. If RPF switches, okay, RPF just switched, which means there's a Shimakaze right in front of me. I think it might be a very wise plan to try to either smoke or similar in this current position. Because right now I am already turning. Purely because RPF just turned, because I know that now the closest ship is the Shimakaze to me. And I was heading in that exact direction. Unfortunately, I didn't get quite close enough to the battleships to try to torpedo them yet, because my torpedoes only have 8-kilometer range. If I had 12-kilometer torpedoes, they would already be in the water right now. So, I'm gonna go slow here, because if I'm not moving at, if I'm moving at less than 12.5 knots, at the moment I get spotted, I can smoke and I will disappear, well, in a few seconds that is. And because the closest ship is the Shimakaze, I should be alright. I'm gonna torpedo that Yamato. Okay, I'm spotted, so Shimakaze spotted me. So I used smoke immediately, and there she is. I estimated where the ship was, and now I'm gonna torpedo the Yamato. Hopefully the Yamato doesn't do too many evasive maneuvers and keeps going exactly where he is. And I think I'm just gonna run right away. The Shimakaze is still the closest ship to me. And, well, there is a smoke screen between me and the Shimakaze, so I should be alright. There's also a friendly destroyer coming up with me. Unfortunately, she is fairly low HP, so... well, we might even lose a straight-up fight here, 2 against 1. But I'll still try my best. Okay, there's the Shimakaze at 3 kilometers. I think I should be able to shoot her soon. Like, I should still be undetected if I fire... once I get... yep, I can fire right now, I think. Without being detected, because the Shimakaze is on the other side of the smoke and the Yamato was far away enough. The sad thing is that the Yamato did dodge those torpedoes, so it did not work out very nicely for me. But this enemy Shimakaze is fairly low, so we might actually be able to get her before, you know, it kills us both. I think Dalamor is dead though, so I'm sorry Dalamor, but I'm gonna use you as a decoy. And goodbye Dalamor, but... also, the enemy Shimakaze is gone, and I still have my 2700 HP. I am unspotted because the Iowa is outside of my detection range even while firing, so the enemy team has a full HP Yamato, which is a pretty big problem, and full HP Gearing, and an almost dead Iowa. We have an almost dead Shimakaze, and another almost dead Shimakaze, and an almost dead battleship that's also a Yamato. Honestly, it's a pretty big mistake here for our Yamato to go into them, because we are holding the positional advantage in terms of cap zones. But it's PTS, so honestly, I can't really expect all that much. There was a very nice salvo on the enemy Yamato, but, you know, it was quite not enough, so ours goes down. I'm gonna try torpedoing this Iowa. If I can hit, like, I think 1 torpedo, maybe 2, I should be able to take her out, and that would be very, very useful at this current point. Hopefully, the friendly Shimakaze starts running away, because if he runs into that Gearing, he will die. That Gearing has way, way too much HP. And honestly, at this point, well, we are ticking into the points lead, and yeah, goodbye Iowa. We have the points lead now as well, and we also have the cap zones advantage. So everything is in our advantage right now. We should be running away. Unfortunately, our Yamato, or our other Shimakaze, went and did something stupid, which is to engage that Gearing and Yamato on his own, and as a result, he died. Now, the question is, if I run away, I will win this game, if they don't cap any bases, because we are ticking into the points advantage. And there is 4 minutes to go, which means that if they don't take any bases and I survive, I will win the game. The problem is that if they take the B cap, they will win the game. At least, very likely will win the game. And if I start fighting them straight on like the gearing, I will die because I do not have enough HP probably to even disengage a, fight. So, right now, I am intently looking at where the RPF indicator is, and it's pointing directly at the Yamato. And it seems the Yamato is gonna come around this side of the map. I make sure that my torpedoes can reach the island over there, so the torpedoes should be on point on the Yamato, or at least, they should reach far enough. And I torpedoed, and the indicator is on the Yamato, so the gearing is not closer to me than, the battleship, which means that I am safe. And I can safely, go around. It's also good that the enemy DD does not seem to have the RPF skill. So they have trouble hunting me. If they had RPF, I would just run away in a straight line, pretty much. Torpedo the Yamato and just run. And I think this is goodbye, Yamato. Goodbye. And now, it's a 1 against 1. We are taking into the points advantage. We also have the points advantage. There is 2 minutes 45 seconds left. And my RPF is telling me exactly where the gearing is. Now, how could I lose this game? There are 2 scenarios. One is that the gearing takes the B cap and then the C cap, and they might be able to get enough points to take into the points lead. The second possibility is that the gearing finds me and kills me. So, what can I do that will help against both of these? First of all, I will pay attention to where the gearing is by looking at RPF. Okay, the gearing is going into the B cap, and that's him entering it right now. And the second thing is that I will take a roundabout way to the A cap, because even if they take the B cap and C cap, they will take points. But if the gearing goes to the C cap after the B cap, I will be safely able to go into the A cap, and that should be enough to stop them from getting enough of a points lead to win the game. Although it might be that we currently actually have enough points to even win, regardless whether I try to go for the A cap or not. And RPF is just so really good here. If, the gearing had RPF, I would have torpedoed the Yamato and then sailed straight towards a corner, because I am faster than the gearing, and, the gearing would have to actually catch me to try to kill me. So even if he knows more or less where I am, he would still have to actually, chase me to the corner, and that will take a lot of time. And if the torpedoes had killed the Yamato, well, that would have been enough time for me to save myself. So now I need to, at this current moment, now the gearing can do one of 2 things. He can go for the C cap, or he could turn around and, predict that I'm going for the A cap. And he's playing essentially like he didn't have RPF. So he would need to completely just guess what to do. If he had RPF, he would know that, he should turn around to come to the A cap to fight me. But he doesn't, so I will safely try to take the A cap. I torpedoed, I fire those torpedoes just in case. Maybe they will work out. Probably not. And it seems that the gearing was heading for the C cap at least, and honestly, well, I guess going to the A cap was kind of unnecessary. We had enough points anyway. And RPF was just really useful at the end here, and the enemies could have done the same thing if they had RPF. And actually, it's really frustrating to lose the game when one DD runs away, even though you have a ship's superiority and you could win definitely every fight. So RPF would help against this. So if the gearing had RPF there, they would have had a much better chance of winning. However, they didn't, so yeah, I won the game instead. I did 161,000 damage, 2,000 base experience, and as you can see, the enemy gearing actually did not do so well. 12 torpedo hits, 3 ships killed, 1 solo cap, and while 151,000 of my damage was with torpedoes. Almost nothing was from flooding, and very little from guns as well. Anyways, as you saw, RPF was very useful here, and it can have its uses in being aggressive as a DD as well. So, if you liked this video, then like it. If you disliked it, then dislike it. And I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support. Daniel Paquin, and I hope I see you guys next time.